Perfect. Oops. Okay, make host. People put co-host. Mine never gives it. I don't know. Mine never says co-host as an option. I don't even know why, but I just give it to you. So that's cool. Welcome, you guys. Okay, so it's recording. Here we go. Monday night. I just want to say kudos, massive kudos to those of you who are showing up in the middle of July. And I'm not saying that people should not be showing up in the middle of July. I am saying I know there are a lot of people out there with distractions or things or reasons that they're not here. And kudos to you for making this a priority, seriously. Because I can tell you firsthand that part of creating what we're going to talk about tonight, which is a life-changing level of residual income at whatever level you choose to go after this, it does take sacrifice. And so the fact that you're here and you're taking 30-ish minutes with us on a Monday night, trust me, we had neighbors hanging out on the street. I could have stayed out there socializing with them for the next couple hours, and I was like, gotta go. But you want to know what? It also shows my neighbors how serious I am and that I take this very seriously, and they don't look at me like, oh, Allison just does that thing. You know, they don't giggle about it because I'm freaking serious about it. So I'm feeling a little fired up tonight because of the topic, because I'm thrilled you're here, because it's the summer and I love it. And so I just wanted to share that. So if you have not yet made your plan for celebration, it's just 2 weeks away. And by plan, I mean either you're coming to Vegas with those of us who are coming to Vegas, you're hanging out in Minneapolis with those of you who are hanging out Lake Calhoun, Minneapolis. You can register, and I encourage you, even if you're doing one of those things, register at that link I just gave you there, because then you'll get all the emails. And Isogenics has promos for celebration and information about the new adaptogen elixir that's coming out, and you will only get those emails if you're registered. It's free. It will take you 2 seconds. It will just show that you're putting your stake in the ground and committing to the event as well. And you can watch it from your house. Awesome. Illinois, Patricia, I love that. Wherever you're watching it, block off some time, block off, you know, just really commit to sitting down and taking it in as though we were at an in-person event. Because I know at this point we're all just craving that total immersion, because it's hard when we have all the millions of things and the Zoom fatigue and the distractions and things. So just do that for me, please. Just take a minute and log in there and register. Okay, so I am gonna share my screen. 1 second here. I'm thrilled to, because I just put together a little bit of stuff here. Yes, good. This should work great. Okay. This is what I want. Okay, residual income. I was just really excited to bring this topic this summer, you guys, because I think it is such an important topic when it comes to this business. So important and so sometimes underrated, I would say, because it's really, you know, comment in the chat if you can mute yourself, please mute yourself, or Christine can help. But comment in the chat if you started for the products. Put a 1 in the chat if you started for the products alone. Okay, put a 1 in the chat. I know I'm gonna get a ton in the chat. Good, good, good. Awesome, yes. And that's so normal, you guys. Look how normal that is, right? So if you're in the camp of starting for the products, that's normal. That's awesome. Look at some of these big names starting for the products, right? Put a 2 in the chat if you started also open for the business. That was me, right? And the thing is, when I said yes to the business, I didn't even really understand this concept of residual income, but Amanda, my enrolling sponsor, sent me to a website called Jen Smith Training. And Barbie, I love it. Put a 3 in the chat if you guys were lit up by the Jen Smith Training website early on when you started. And I'm going to put it in here so that you can all go check it out. I am also going to play just 30 seconds of it right here because I want you to hear her real quick. Hold on. And I'm throwing it back to the old school right here. This is her. And I want you to just listen to what she says for these next like 30 seconds. Hopefully this comes through well. I'll turn it way up.
you can get back to the person who gave this to you. You have a team of people that are willing to work with you. But this is one thing I can promise you. If after this video, you look at the compensation plan and you say, that looks pretty good, I'm going to do this, you don't get the compensation plan. It is not until your jaw falls to the floor and you say, I must be missing something. I have to be missing something. It can't be. This is too good to be true. That's when I know you understand the compensation plan. All right, so let's.
Okay, so I wanted to share that. Could you guys hear that like clearly? Okay, good. And that's how I felt. Okay, that's how I felt. You see the quote there. If you really understood residual income, you would walk through a brick wall to get it. And I do encourage you, even though the numbers on that thing, it is old. I don't know if you saw copyright 2010. It's an 11-year-old video. Take the 40 minutes to watch it, because that video still to this day, you'll see the names in the chat. The threes that people were putting threes, that video lit them up. First comp plan video, go check it out and just immerse yourself in the concept, because when you really understand it, that's where you can't sleep at night. And just a little about me. I know a lot of you know my story, but so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but a little about me. I was working in a corporate job prior to finding Isogenics. I had a 1-year-old at home. My oldest in that picture in the middle with the family was 1. I was pregnant with my second. I had a good job. I had a good life by societal standards, but I just felt deep in my soul something was missing. And I felt like, gosh, what else? There's got to be more to this, you know? And I found Isogenics, and I met with Amanda over coffee, my enrolling sponsor, and she directed me to the Jen Smith training comp plan video. And I remember that first weekend, exactly what she said happening. I watched it with my husband. I went to bed that night with this little sparkle in my brain. I couldn't quite sleep as well because I was like, oh my gosh, maybe that's it. Because I had this feeling of possibility. And you don't have to want to quit your job to have a feeling of possibility. You can just say, gosh, I am made for more. I am meant for more. My life, this is going to align so much with my purpose. And I'm going to go and I'm going to create something that, by the way, when you watch the Jen Smith video, make sure you understand that you can pass that down to your children or other loved ones. You create a true legacy, okay? And the ripple effect of the pictures of the people on this screen here, and the ripple effect to my daughter that my husband is holding, Mia, my youngest, my third, the thought that we get to build this legacy, it literally I could not sleep anymore because of it. And I remember then my day job wasn't so bad anymore because I had a skip in my step. I remember literal skip in my step in the Skyways in downtown Minneapolis saying, oh my gosh, I have possibility. I have opportunity. You know, how many times do these opportunity meetings or these presentations go by the wayside, but we're not showing the people? You find someone like me who just wants to look at it and say, gosh, that vehicle is the thing that's going to change my life. That's how I felt. And that is, you know, what we've really, quite honestly, been able to create with this opportunity. So I want to spend, you know, sure, there's the comp plan. If you don't understand the comp plan in full, watch the Jen Smith thing, reach out to me. I will draw it for you on my whiteboard one-on-one. I'm happy to do so until you understand it. But what I really want you to understand today is the fundamentals of residual income. And if you have not yet, look, see, I pulled out, this is my old CD that I have listened to so many times in my car. And I wanted to also, just so that you guys can see, all these are my CDs, right? This is my Lynn Hagedorn CD. This is my Peter Kelly CD, because I saw possibility and I saw what I was going to do with this. And I knew I had to immerse myself into learning, right? Old As Man Thinketh, these David Wood, there's so many good things out there. And sometimes I think we get so caught up in scrolling on social media or, you know, looking for the super uber successful people or podcasts or, you know, just like find what works for you. You know, maybe it's a book, maybe it's a hard copy book, but this right here, this is what I put on this slide for you guys to look at. Okay. So the cash flow quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki explains, and when you find someone who gets it, you're not going to have to motivate them to do Isogenics. You're not going to have to, you know, drag them, so to speak, because they're just going to be like, oh yeah, that's me. That totally makes sense. So what it's showing you here is on the left side of the quadrant, at the left side is the E and the S. So I was myself at the time, I was an employee. I was an employee for a big corporation. I had a set salary. I had a commitment to a company. I had a 401k. I had paid vacation time. I had, you know, all sorts of different benefits. And that was great. And a lot of people, we need employees in the world. It's amazing to be an employee. It really is. Then right below that is self-employed. Okay. And we need self-employed. Self-employed is like the owner at the coffee shop who has to show up every day because they own it. It's theirs. They're self-employed, but the business doesn't run if they want to take it. They can't take a day off. They can't just not show up, right? So on the left side, your job or your business is owning your time. And 95% of people hang out on the left side of the cash flow quadrant because that's what we learn about in school. That's what I went to school. I went to college. I got my MBA. All of the things that we learned were about that left side. Okay. Robert Kiyosaki explains that on the right side, this is where the wealth is, you guys. This is the wealth is controlled by this 5%. 95% of the wealth is controlled by this 5% on the right side. The business owners on the top, B, that's what we are in Isogenics because we have a system. We're building residual, right? The money comes in from past orders and from building something out. And then investing, okay? And so, you know, a business owner, I mean, there are like, you know, people who own a franchise or a gym and they have, you know, they don't have to be there every day. They have workers and they have other, so it's not just network marketing, but it's such a good example of a way for the average person to start on a couple of $100s and get into business and start building their cash flow, building their wealth, right? And then investing is great too. We do that too. We have rental property. You know, there's so many, of course, any 401ks, anything like that, but that's, you know, you build capital over time where your money makes money. Okay. So when we talk about following systems and we talk about plugging in and we talk about building an organization and showing people this stuff, that's the right side. That's the B. Okay. So I want you guys to think about that. And then, you know, I also like to think about just, yeah, whatever. I'll come back to that. Okay. So, oh, there's all my stuff. Okay. So the path to residual income. And I want you guys to look at this and I want you to think about, and I should check out the chat here, just in case, but I want you guys to think about, yes, good. Awesome. So I want you to think about how when you're building this, you are going after what I just said. 5% of people are going to get it. 5% of people choose to move from left to right. So you are doing something that is abnormal to the common person. You are not common. You have something in you. You have a spark. You're here. You're showing up. Just like I said at the beginning of the call, you're showing up when there are other places you could be. You're showing up because you have a spark for something different and something bigger than yourself. And so there are going to be people out there who don't totally get it, right? And I underline temporary. This is Eric Worre's statement, temporary loss of social esteem by ignorant people. And ignorant, it's not meant to be an insult. It's just they don't understand it. They don't get it, right? I remember time, you know, Lori Sherman and I would talk about, oh, so-and-so said this, or it's like, she just doesn't get it yet. Oh, they just don't get it. Like they just don't understand the idea. They're so stuck in that specific employed section that they just don't get it. That's okay. And guess what? They might get it. Just like I said, you know, my neighbors are all out in the street hanging out, you know, and I'm like, I got to go in for my team call. They see me committed to my goals and they might be like, well, wow, I wish I could do that. Oh, or I wish, you know, gosh, good for her. You know, the loss of social esteem is temporary, especially when you stick with it. And especially when you actually go and do what you are telling everyone that you're going to go and do. Okay. So, and it will feel like a new identity because you're literally moving from that left to the right side of the quadrant. It won't be linear. I drew this literally just road to success because I think it's really important for people to see. Your road to success is going to go up, but you're going to have big dips and you're going to have ups and downs and ups and downs. And hopefully as you grow, the downs are going up, but then you might have a big down and then you're going to have a big up. But the whole is a trend. It's a trend upward, okay? And you're going to get paid on whatever you've been doing the last couple of years, because, you know, the work it's not linear, right? That if it were linear, it would be that left side of the quadrant. But that's the catch-22. The left side of the quadrant is not going to build that wealth that you're craving. And so moving to the right side, that's how you do that, okay? And the best way that I like to explain it, and I tell people this all the time, even people that I'm talking to that don't totally get it, I tell them that imagine, put in the chat, just put an A in the chat if you have Amazon Prime or you love Amazon Prime. Put an A in the chat. Okay. Now imagine that every person that you ever introduced to Amazon, that you got a small percentage of every single purchase that they ever did on Amazon. Every purchase. All their shampoo, all their toys, all their gifts, all their electronics, all their everything. And not just them for the rest of their lives, every single purchase, but then the people that they tell, and the people that they tell, and the people that they tell about Amazon. So you're getting the word out about Amazon because of this massive ripple effect, right? Amazon doesn't go that route. They just didn't choose the network marketing model. But people are buying on Amazon, right? And so imagine that that's how it goes. So the work is done beforehand. You're going after being the 5% of people who are building true wealth, right? And you're going after this stuff. And so it's going to take time, and it's going to have up and down seasons, and it's going to take immersion in the isogenic story, immersion in the systems, right? We have the systems in place, immersion in the industry. And you'll get immersion in the industry by listening to people who can tell you all the great stories about our industry and why it's so wonderful. I know Barbie just read this summer, and she's like, oh my gosh, I totally get it now, right? So who do you have on your team that doesn't totally get it now? They're like, oh yeah, sounds good. That could really understand this. Maybe you gift it to her. Maybe you pass it along. You say, hey, I want you to check this out. This is changing my life. I think it could really change your life too. Okay? And I like to talk about why it matters when you're moving to residual. Okay? So I want and everyone is in such a different place right now. Some people, I really think about just the pandemic, and, we haven't maybe been doing in-person events for a while, or you are feeling like fatigued by Zoom, or you are feeling like you're craving community, or I know even Gretchen did a post about like, oh, did I forget how to do networking? But she actually absolutely loved it when she did it, right? So we're in a season to really check in. And I want you guys to check in with yourselves and say, gosh, where are my expectations in this as we enter this new season? Because I can feel a new season brewing. I can, because we're going to have an event. We're going to have celebration. And then we're going to have an event. If you're in the Minneapolis area, September 11th. Okay. You want to get every single person in there to learn and to listen and to say, gosh, is this my season? I'm going to raise my hand. I'm going to run. I'm going to link arms with you. Right. I saw the Slobans popped up an event down in Austin, Texas, the same weekend. So things are happening in September. If you're not in Minneapolis, I'm sure we can find an event, somewhere around for you to plug into. And then level setting expectations with the new teammate, right? Like early on, and this scale, it's a very simple picture. I draw very simple pictures, lines and triangles. This scale is just teaching you that, for a while, you're going to be tipped more towards spending more time than the money that you're making. But that's the point. That's the total point. That's why it's not the left side of the quadrant. That's why you're here. That's why you have uncommon dreams. You have big, audacious, beautiful dreams, because then it's going to tip to the other side where the money is more than the time that you're spending. I can tell you right now, and I only share this because we've been doing this for a while. Right now we've had 7 cycles today. There's people on this call who have more than that. I promise you. 7 cycles. We have done nothing, I've been plugging into stuff today, but that's work from before. It's so powerful when you understand it. And I'm speaking to if you're here to share products and share the love, and that's awesome. Like there's a place for you if you want to go slowly, but who I'm speaking to right now is that person who knows that they're not playing as big as they could be, and they have dreams on their heart that they know. And I'm not even satisfied with the 7, right? I want to 10x that, because I know that just means more lives changed. I know that means more people getting paid. I know that means, you know, we're achieving those big goals and dreams that are on our hearts. So imagine waking up to all the work that you did before and having like $370 sitting there from a day. And that's, you know, there's people doing way bigger things than that. But I just, you know, I remember early on thinking, gosh, I can't wait until I wake up and I have 2 cycles one day. And I remember the first time I did that, and I was sitting in my office at work, and I was like, oh my gosh, $108 just came through. That was so cool, right? It's powerful if you let it be powerful, and it's powerful if you share it with others, and it's powerful if you really think about how you can take this vehicle and teach others the same thing. And I'm here to talk about the money because I never would have ever, hold on, I never would have reached out to Amanda simply for shakes or simply for, I wouldn't have. That was all great, and I love these products so dearly, I really do. But the thing that was compelling me were the dreams on my heart and needing a vehicle to create more time in my life. So where are you playing small? Where are you not, you know, really showing people what we have here? Okay. And then the residual value of your business. I do like to show this because, and if you've ever seen, so this is where, and I know like whatever you're grateful for, you can create more of. And if you're not grateful for something, then it's probably not going to grow, right? We got it. Gratitude equals growth. Gratitude, growth. Got to be grateful for it. And I found myself in places along here as well, right? But this is cycles per week. If you're cycling 1 time per week, you're making about $2,800 in Isagenix. If you had money sitting in the bank account earning 3% interest, do you know how much money you would need to make $2,800? You would need $93,000 sitting in the bank. Okay. And then we can go up, you know, if you're like, got it, 1, 2 cycles, cool. If your goal is 5 and you're like, I want to do 5 times a week, 14 grand a month. Do you know how powerful that is? You would need $469,000 sitting there earning 3% interest. And I talk about it because that, you know, interest and investment is on the right side of the quadrant. And that is the money that comes in when you're not actually doing the work, right? So I want you to fall in love with the right side of the quadrant. Like that's my goal for you in this, and to really be speaking about it to others. And you don't have to know all the ins and outs and tits and tats of the comp plan. Sure, we can work on that. We can work on the mechanics, but you can also send them the videos. All these people that commented the Jen Smith training was everything for them. That's what turned their light on, right? And we have current videos that you can send people to show them the comp plan. 3-way phone calls you can plug them into, right? If you want to cycle 40 times a week, right? That's 3-star. That's a 6-figure income, $112,000 a year. You would need $3.7 million sitting in the bank, okay? So think about who in my network needs to know this. Who out there is looking for this? And how can I be so grateful for what I have already created? Because you know that you're not stopping where you're at right now. You're here. You're here. You're not stopping. Okay. So really just action items coming out of this. These are just my notes, notes to myself really, but notes to you guys too. You know, make a decision, put a stake in the ground. As we enter this new season, are you in? And if you're in, you know, raise your hand and tell someone, go tell someone, say, hey, I want to do this. Like and it's okay if you're like, I haven't done it yet, or I don't really know how. Be vulnerable with the people around you. No one here is here to judge. Everyone is willing to help pull you up and help you, you know, hone in on your skills a little bit better. Get into the right action, because there's a lot of action that won't create the residual, and there's a lot of action that will. So let's focus on those things that are going to help us create the residual, right? Get clear on why you're doing this. You know, why are you here? What compelled you to show up? And are you sharing that with people? And are you able to really be a sponge to network marketing? Just like I said, I literally, my first year, it was like, okay, I am brand new to this. Yeah, I have all these other things that I've been doing in business for 10 years, but this is like, I'm a fish out of water. I got to learn this. So being coachable, every part of the system is intentional. Team calls are intentional to kick your week off. I promise you, to set you up now. to plug in all of your new people. Even if you've heard it before, guess what? It's not for you anymore. It's for you to bring your new people along so that they are learning and being plugged in. Three-way calls are intentional so that it's on the job shadowing. So you can be learning and you can be hearing what your mentor is saying to your prospect. Events are so intentional. The community, the feeling, the unshakable belief, everything you get out of that, you know, all of it. Sharing a tool is intentional. If I get lit up by Jen Smith, do you know how many people I sent that Jen Smith training video to my first year? I can't even tell you. Cousins of my husband, you know, old coworkers, childhood friends, all these people. Hey, just watch this 40-minute video. I would send them. Do you think most of them probably didn't watch it? But just having that ignorance on fire. I'm going, come with me, right? I'm going, come with me. Practice it. I'm going, come with me. I want you guys to get so comfortable saying, this is where I'm headed. I care about residual income. Go with me here, right? And then plan to plug into these events this fall. There's so much. Promise yourself, because you can, you know, promise someone else, but you got to make the promise to yourself. It's the only one that really is going to stick. You have to promise yourself to be here 1 year from today, 5 years from today, 10 years from today, until you go and create exactly what you're hoping to create out of this, okay? And trust yourself and have fun in the process, you guys. Like, this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be exciting. If you watch the Jen Smith video, if you haven't seen it, she's out by the pool. She has her kids playing the roles of the people she's building out on our team. It doesn't have to be all buttoned up and serious, right? And really recognize that also that, you know, you can trust yourself in this process. You don't need to know it all. You don't need to have done it. You need to have created a six-figure. You don't even need to have created. You can say, I'm going here. Come with me. I'm going here. Do you get it? Are you the 5%? Come with me. And then also recognize that you're going to weather a lot of people saying no because they're not, because 95% of the people hang out on the left side. That's okay. If those are, you're trying to identify the ones that want to do it with you, right? And then also, you know, I remember saying one time, like, making $100,000 a year in residually is so totally different than making $100,000 a year in a job. Because I think about people who they retire maybe when they're 65 and they live for another, just for easy math, let's say they live for another, I'm gonna say 30 years, just in case. When you're 65, or we'll say 62 to 92. 62, if they're making 100,000, that money stops, right? They've built up their retirement, it stops. Imagine being 62 and having money that continues to come in, 100,000 for another 30 years. That's an additional $3 million in wealth that they're building. Even after they retire, even after they quit, right? And that's not even including future. That's not even including the other things that they can do with their time as they've built up wealth. Maybe they get some rental properties. Maybe they use it to funnel and waterfall into other businesses, as we've seen people do here on this call. So go big, put your stake in the ground, fall in love with residual, check out the resources if you haven't. And I mean, that's really what I have for you guys tonight. I'll stop there, but does anyone have any questions or anything? Look at the chat here. Good. Yeah, Barbie, I love that. You may want to share the products, but there might be people in your network on your team who have big goals and dreams that would love this opportunity. And we've seen this where people are hearing about the products, they're product users, they're happy, but a couple of years pass and then all of a sudden they're like, wait, what? No one ever told me about this side. And then now they're like super stuck in because they get it. And until they see it, they can't even make a decision about it. Okay? Totally, Gretchen. Yeah, our financial planner was, you know, I was like, think of it kind of like a mutual fund. So, you know, he's like, well, is it going to stop? I'm like, no, think of it. He's like, oh my gosh, you know, just like, no, it's not stopping. I love that. That's amazing. He put it in the will and he was blown away. You guys, savvy, smart people get it. Not all of them. Some of them are going to be skeptics. That's okay. That doesn't need to change your mindset around it, right? Look at what you have in front of you and go. Okay. So good to spend this time with you guys. Hope you have a good night. Next week, Gretchen's up with the pencil pitch. So that's going to build so nicely off of this. Come back next week. to hear the pencil pitch. Gretchen's going to train, and bring all your friends as well. And kudos to you guys for showing up. I really, really appreciate it.